Hello and welcome to Indie Attack today with Kelson. And
Woody.
today on Interactive Fiction Week, we have The Secret Vaults of Kas the Betrayer by A.E. Jackson. And yeah, this is basically a classic hard fantasy point and click adventure game that is text based. And it's like a single player classic D&D campaign through the lens of specifically like a thief and focusing on role playing and cunning ultimately.
Yes.
Um,
Your sort of story setup is you are breaking into the vaults as a thief to steal stuff.
for the Brotherhood.
Specifically to steal a pickaxe for the Brotherhood.
Right. That's Quicksilver. Uh, it's very the aesthetic is extremely Tolkien. Like it's like
Yes.
dwarvish.
This is a pretty, this is some high fantasy right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if right off the bat, I think anybody who's jonesing for that kind of a thing would already like just play this right away because it is totally up your. It is your thing, man. And
But differently from a lot of the other stuff we've played for this, this game is a text-based adventure game where you're picking your decisions. But unlike a lot of the other stuff we've played, it is kind of more of an adventure game set up to this, where there are straight-up puzzles in this.
yeah,
Based off of clues, you find the environment, pulling levers, rotating things, doing things in the correct order.
right. There are traps. There's punishment
Yes.
for failure. Um,
There's a lot of very video gamey elements to this.
yeah, you're right. I think it does cross the bridge between just like a functional mechanics video game, and the text interactive fiction. It really is interactive fiction. It's like Myst as only told through, writing. And I thought it was well written to the credit of Mr. Jackson on this.
Yes, it was. It kept me interested. It had some lore and some backstory, but not enough that I ever felt it was like a text dump or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it functioned well in the moment. Like I felt like it was pretty, it cut to the chase of just like you've been here before, you get fantasy, here we are, boom, and now you're living
Yeah.
in that. Um, and yeah, I really don't have too many criticisms of this one. I
Yeah, it's really solid. It maybe didn't wow me like a couple of the other things we played,
yeah,
but
agreed.
it's a very solid entry, and this is kind of one of those things. Like I said, it's a very adventure game feel. Want to see this same game exist, but be in a visual format, and just have it be a straight up point and click adventure style experience.
Yeah, I think this is one that could really translate easily. The description is in such a way that it really sets up like what these levels would look like. It painted a picture really well, and I think the puzzle solving also. It's just like boom, direct translation. And it's like hard. It really commits to the hard
Yeah.
fantasy genre. So it'd be really easy to design all that stuff. Yeah,
Oh
if I could
yeah.
say anything, there were some spelling errors that I found. At one point, it's like flint and tender, little things like that. It's like, he could have passed through that with a little bit of an editor's comb, but that is
Well, you can miss stuff. I'm not. I can easily make typos, as some of these video titles and thumbnails will
no
suggest.
one is no one is
So
perfect. However, it is an interactive fiction competition, and some of the games had typos and some did not. Be that as it may, I am not skewering him for that. I'm simply saying that something to consider in the future, Mr. Jackson. But yes, overall, I would highly recommend this one, and would imagine it's going to do well in
yeah,
the
this was a
yeah.
very solid entry. I think it's among the higher quality games. That said, being that it's high fantasy, I don't think you'd miss out if you didn't play this compared to some of the other stuff, because it's a pretty familiar kind of a setup of the story, albeit a well crafted experience in that genre.
Yeah, I agree completely.